Hello, hello. Welcome, guys. How are you today? Yeah, enough said, right? Welcome, and how are you today? How is your day going? Oh, my visual just changed. Okay, I think I can see you. I can see any comments. So when you're here, be sure to say hello. And I'm having a weird day today, so I'm having a hot moment, I think. It's not like hot flashes. They're not lasting as long, they're not as torturous, but it's like a moment or two. So, I'm just going to wait a second to see who's joining us. Marianne normally catches us live. Ramona is out of country, so I'm not even sure what time it is there. I know she'll let us know when she gets back, but, and I know a couple of the other ladies like to catch the replay. All of the other ladies like to catch the replay. So, take a breath. Take a sip of water. There's a couple of things today I want to go over for housekeeping. So, housekeeping, to get things started. We have no session next week. Obviously, it's Christmas. I will not be doing a makeup session. You're going to be getting so much value in content through this group, and life is busy enough. So when there is a little bit of grace, take it. Take it as a gift. Take it as a gift of time. I use the same formula when it comes to appointments that don't come to fruition. I look at it in that light. Thank you for the gift of time. And it completely changes my outlook on it. So Christmas with no makeup date, so that is the 25th, and I guess we'll have the 1st off as well, so I'm going to offer something else, so just stay tuned here. So nothing on the 25th, nothing on the 1st of January either, okay? So let's hold on to that in terms of cancellations. So what's next, guys, is I have recorded this podcast. I am recording this, and I will be using this as my podcast. So for those that are listening to the podcast, welcome. You kind of tripped over this episode. I'm going to explain. I'm going to take a minute and explain what you're hearing here. So for those that clicked episode 166, Be That Girl in 2024, you are in the right place. You are actually either listening to or watching my Essentially You private Facebook community where I go live once a week. And why I'm sharing this today is the timing, the type of content we're going to be covering, and to give you an idea, simply an idea of what this group is all about. And some of the things we talk about. So I wanted to give this as a gift to everybody that listens to my podcast, to everybody that watches and follows along with the YouTube. After, 166, this will be number 166 for episodes. This is amazing that I'm able to take a piece of what I'm doing in a different area and share that with all of you. And the reason why I wanted to share all of that, twofold. A, I'm going to be rolling out a workshop that I'm offering everybody. But B, I am offering something different to my podcast series, to my podcast listeners, and to those in my private coaching community. I will be taking volunteers. Now, you don't have to be in my community. You can be brand new where I don't know you and I don't know your context. I am offering this to you as well. Those that are in my community, you know a little bit more about me, and I know a little bit more about you, and so the conversation will be different. I am offering you a free session in exchange for it going live. So a free live interview session that I will be recording and posting to, again, my YouTube and my podcast. So I will be introducing interviews, coachee and coach interviews, as we're going through a real live life coaching session, the ups and downs of it, That's one of the new things I'm going to be doing in 2024. So if you're already a paid coaching client, this could be a free session for you. And if you're somebody else willing to try this, willing to be vulnerable, willing to do something different, completely willing to be that girl in 2024, I invite you to reach out and we will talk about what this call would look like and set it all up. Honestly, it's not any different than having coffee with a friend. You've heard me say that more than once. You know that's my go-to. You know that vibe is something I take with me wherever I go. So, homework, just going over it. No 25th, no 1st. I'm offering coaching interviews that are recorded and posted. So coached, recorded, and posted. I am planning on expanding this option where it is a part of my regular content, especially for the podcast YouTubes. So definitely see how this sits with you. It's an opportunity to tap in and figure it out. I want to use the right words, but the right words are different, right? Different for everybody else. And as we dive into today, that's what I want you to think about. Right words. And when I say be that girl in 2024, what does that mean to you? And, you know, what is it that you want to tap into? Just to take a deeper dive. Just so you can have a lot more clarity and confidence in the direction that you're going. Okay. And as I started to mention, I have one more thing up my sleeve. I am offering a workshop. It's actually, we're going to get bits and pieces of it today, but not really, but a little bit. It's called the Goldilocks approach. I presented this workshop 3 years ago now, publicly for free. And here's the thing. I'm being completely honest. Those in the Essentially You group get it for free. 100% you get this workshop for free. And I would suggest that you take me up on it. Everybody else, there is an investment. $9.99. That's a low investment, but it's still an investment. I'd love to offer it to you for free. But there will be no more free in 2024 for me. And the reason why is there needs to be an energetic exchange for the value you are delivering versus the value that somebody is receiving. If there isn't an energetic exchange, there's not going to be the value taken away from it. Keep that in mind. Your workshop is worth a lot more than $9.99, guys. You know this. And it's not for you. It's free for you, because you're already making an investment. But again, for those that are listening on the podcast or the YouTube, keep this in mind. Me doing these series are exclusive to the Essentially You group. I am giving you a tidbit every once in a while because I believe the subject matter is important. But for those curious, in the workshop, it's $9.99. You are worth it. I know things are tight. I know things are busy. We're going to dive in today, and as we unfold, as we peeled back the layers of that onion, we're going to dive into why you are worth $9.99. And I make it light like this, but it's important to make it light like this because 2023 was heavy, huh? Yeah. Let's summarize first what today's going to be a little bit about and what I mean by being that girl in 2024. Don't forget, if you're catching this live, if you're in the group, say hi. Let me know that you're here. Marian, I know you pop in a little bit late. I know the rest of you typically grab the recording, with the exception of Ramona. So again, when you catch the recording, put replay. If you're catching this on YouTube, put replay. Let me know how you found this information. So be that girl in 2024. It means living your best life and becoming the happiest person, having the right diet, exercising, getting up early, and completing your to-do list. Wouldn't you agree? Personally, for me, that girl means becoming the best version of myself without having to change myself or how I live. It means to me that girl, we don't need to do what is shown to us on social media, but we must try to build better habits that can bring positivity into our lives and get rid of the bad habits that hold us back from reaching our potential. So I'm going to say that last part again. It's super important. We don't need to do what is shown to us on social media. We don't need to be influenced. We don't need to be carried away with the little things that add up to the big things because they take up our time. But we must try to build better habits, no matter where you're at on the scale. We must try to build better habits that can bring us more positivity into our lives and get rid of the bad habits that hold us back from reaching our true potential. That's what I mean by being that girl in 2024. Am I the only one? I can't be the only one that took that big sigh. Okay. By the way, for catching this, and you already know that you wanted the Goldilocks approach workshop. I don't even have the date and details put together yet, but put that in the comment, and I will make sure I keep you on that information. Okay, just so you know. Okay. Take a deep breath. Take a drink of water. Take a second here. That's heavy. We talked about bad habits, reaching our potential, bringing more positivity into our life, not being influenced. What part of those things there? Being influenced and the bad habits. What part of those things there had an impact on your 2023? How did your 2023 go? It's a loaded question. No, seriously, stop for a second and think about how did your 2023 go? We literally have 7 days before Christmas. We have less than 2 weeks before 2023. Literally, how did your 2023 go? What were some of the feelings and emotions? What did you avoid? What did you do? I would brainstorm. Well, here's kind of what I did. I don't know if you can see it here, but I took, how did your 2023 go, and I made notes around it. And you can see how I did that for the whole page. I actually did that for a couple of pages, and I did that right here with more of my notes. So I like to make notes this way when I'm brainstorming. It's just an idea, a way to do things differently. And then I take these notes and I present from them, or I review them and I make notes, or I journal, and sometimes I make workshops from them. So keep your notes for a while. Anyways, depending how much of a creative you are. So we're talking about 2023 right now. Feelings, emotions, what did you avoid? What did you lean into? What was different? And when I say different, what does that look like for you? My 2023 was interesting. I feel like it was a year of healing. I feel like it was a year of releasing what no longer serves me. I feel like it was a year of patience. I feel like it was a year of trusting. A year of surrendering. I feel that it was a year of, I'm just making sure my headphones are connected here because it might be a little bit low. Just double checking because I thought they were. It was a year of change in so many areas. 2023 was so different for me. And I never could have expected it to be like that. Who would have thought in a million years? I was able to run again. I did run in April. Now, I learned a lesson there. I learned that as a lady in her late 40s. We're typically dehydrated now first thing in the morning. So I was dehydrated when I went for my run, and I didn't realize it, and I tore my calf muscle. So I learned that, which totally makes sense. I have so many takeaways from 2023. I mean, I haven't done a post about this yet, and I think I talked about this last week, but I don't know if you can see it behind me. Yeah, right there. Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 journals that I've completed, and I am about to complete another one. I'll probably have it completed today or tomorrow when I write in it. There was, some of my takeaways included things in the areas of spirituality, my physical body, which I'm hyper aware of right now, that I'm leaning into things that do not serve me. And also, if I were to say, am I balanced right now with my health, my energy versus, my physical ailments? I don't feel I'm completely balanced at the moment, and maybe it has something to do with my food, because I have noticed, right? The takeaways have been the food-mind connection, the mind-body connection. Some of the areas that have been different for me were spirituality. And physically, my body changed. My body changed, and you've heard me talk about this in such a good way that, I would have more energy if I was moving around a lot more, and it looks different. And I trust it, and I take care of it in such a different way, from yoga to walks, and it's just completely different than the high-intensity boot camps I used to do, or the having to run. Then there's the financial piece of how different my life looked this year, how much I had to trust, and what I needed to do differently, and how creative I had to be, got to be, was thankful that I was resourceful enough to be. So what areas of your life were different than what you expected in 2023? I shared some of mine. I mean, sitting down and journaling these ideas, we're going to go over a few more ideas today, but it's just a great piece to think about. And then when I say different, when I'm saying my 2023 was different, and here's what that looked like, and I shared that with you, I'm sitting with the thought of, is different bad? Why do we think or quickly or automatically assume that looking different means bad? Different isn't bad. Maybe it's bad, or it feels heavy because change feels heavy and change is dark, and we feel like we don't have the strength to go through it. But I promise you that's because you're going too fast. I've learned many lessons, and that, my friends, is because you're going too fast. So think about your top takeaways for 2023. Attach some feeling, emotion, again, avoidances, as to what you did differently. Now, I also want you to think about what you would have liked to have done, what you would have liked to have accomplished. So kind of like your accomplished list, your different list, your would like to list. Okay. Do this however you want. And, when we're talking about 2023, when we were in this place a year ago, were you stepping into your intuition to guide you for 2023, or was it completely planned out? When I say planned out, was it broken down? Did you have space created on your calendar? Was there any version of that? Or did you just wake up every day, follow your intuition, your inner guidance? You just kind of went with the flow and hoped everything got done. Those are two extremes. I'm going to give you that. Those are two extremes, but we're going to go there for a second. We're going to tap into, your intuition. Intuition is your internal guidance system. It's a gut feeling. And it does not come with an explanation or logic. Some people experience emotions and feelings. Others physically experience things like aches and pains or lightness. In others, it's through thoughts and ideas and inspiration. So your intuition can look different. Your intuition might also feel like you've lost, or you might feel, sorry, let me rephrase that. It might feel these days like you've lost touch with your intuition because maybe you haven't connected with pen and paper, or maybe you haven't been in prayer and meditation. But when you are in those things, it is a quiet nudge. It's a quiet voice. It's a part of our lives that is so normal that many people don't even realize they are intuitive, because they let their intuition lead them all day, and they just figured they're guiding from A to B, and nothing feels any different. They just go along their day as usual. Some call it common sense, some people call it obvious. But once we start to really hone in and reactivate our intuition, we can live a more connected life. When we're talking about more connected life, we're talking empowering joyfulness. And without knowing how to do this, when you know how, I'm trying to think of the words, the right way to say this. Knowing without knowing how you know. How about that? So complete trusting. It's complete trusting in the big picture when you follow your intuition. You get up, you brush your teeth, you, make your coffee, you get dressed, you leave for the day, you go to work, you do your thing. Maybe you've got a little bit of a plan laid out there, maybe not. And you come home, and then you make your dinner, you make your lunch, you kind of repeat some of the day's events. But in terms of life plans, goals, businesses, you just kind of do it all over again, right? And you're hoping something will change because maybe one day you'll get an intuitive hit and you follow it. So you don't need to know how your intuition is going to wake up. You don't need to know how your intuition is going to talk to you, but you do need to pay attention, because intuitive abilities are unique and we all experience it differently. Everybody experiences their intuition differently because we all live different lives. Now, I have a little mantra here for you here. We're not going to tap too much into intuition, but I do want to leave you with this. I am trusting and opening my mind fully to allow for my inner voice and guidance to flow freely. I'm going to say it again. I am trusting and opening my mind fully to allow for my inner voice and guidance to flow freely. So that's on intuition. I wanted to summarize that. I wanted to give you that so you had a clear understanding what intuition means. Because when I said breaking it down, creating a plan, creating space, putting it in your calendar, I am not saying that that's not intuition, okay? That is creating a plan, but that is having something guided out. That is, maybe you're reading 5 pages of a book every night so you can start reading more. Maybe you're having a bath once a week so you can start dedicating time for self-care. So this is where you have actually put space in the calendar for you, or your business, or your goals, or your job, or your grandchild, or cooking, or meal prepping. You see, what I'm here to teach you, and we're going to learn everything about this, well, not everything, but a lot about this in the Goldilocks approach, where we're taking the two and we're blending them together. I help you take your big picture dreams, and we need a big picture dream. You would have heard this called your hairy, audacious goal, and it's something that you want. It's way out of arm's reach, but yet your vision board is all full of that life. You can step into it. You can think about it. You can feel it. What is it you're working towards? It's something, okay? It can be financial freedom. It can be time freedom. It can be balanced health, right? It can be anything that you want it to be, but it is something. Otherwise, what are you doing this all for? And that's a great question. So what is it that you want? And I would love to hear your goals in here, your goals for 2024. Because in the Goldilocks approach, I'm going to help you create that image of that girl that you want to live. Because remember, you want to be that girl in 2024. And it's going to start by breaking down that goal into bite-sized pieces, planning it out, learning the Goldilocks approach, but creating a lot of space so we can tap into our intuition, such as meditating, such as painting, such as going for bike rides with your best friend. But those things might look different if your health isn't in the right place, right? You're couch bound. Your life looks completely different, my friends, if you're not in balanced health. So that's the difference between intuition-led or the Goldilocks approach. I have goals that I'm chasing all the time, but I'm very much influenced by my intuition. I have my workout clothes on now with the plan to do some, I was going to do some workout, and then I'm like, no, I'll just do some yoga. And now I'm like, I'm thinking yoga then a bath, but I will do yoga because I'm wearing exercise clothes, so I know I'll move my body, and I haven't changed for a reason. That's the difference, right? I was going to, I didn't, so now I'm going to wear this and step into the version of me that's already doing it. So keeping those two things in mind, when I say be that girl in 2024, intuitively what comes to mind? Age, image, expectations, reality. And if there's any men listening to this, just replace girl for guy. It's more than play on words, really. Be that girl in 2024 is powerful, right? So we're leaving 23 behind, but we're understanding what we did. And we've got an idea of what it is that we want to work towards. And if we don't have that idea yet, you got plenty of time to figure it out, okay? I still want you to go through this. I still want you to walk the path with us. I still want you to trust in timing, because it'll all make sense when that thing comes to mind. That's why I want to hear what you have today. And you know, we're going to go over a couple points right now. We're going to summarize what it means to be that girl in 2024 and break them down. I'm not sure yet if I'm posting them or what they're going to look like, but it's going to help, I think, give you some ideas of some goals. Let's see what I have here. Okay. When it comes to those goals, I want you to think about where you'd like to start, what your future looks like to you. But when you're thinking those things, again, just brainstorm right now. Do whatever works for you. What kind of dedication does it take? Time, commitment? What does that look like for you? What kind of time and commitment do you have to chase your goals in 2024? Ask yourself, what would be easy? However you approach 2023, you know, we've wrapped that up in a nice pretty ball, and we've identified what our wins were, what was different, and really what we want for 2024 at this point. We're going to start with what would be easy. What would be easy to chase after 2024? I'm not breaking this down for you. I'm saving this all for the Goldilocks approach, friends, but I'm giving you some tidbits that you can get started with, okay? Think about what's next for you. Feelings, thoughts. What does that girl in 2024 look like? We're talking age, image, expectations. What reality does she want to step into, or he? When I ask you what's next for you, what ideas are coming to mind? Wants, dreams, desires. I want to touch base on this book. I'm not telling everybody to go out and buy it, but I want to touch base on this book here. And I'm not going to show you this one as an example, but I'm going to show you It's the Design Your Life Your Way quarterly planner. And I don't know if I broke down goals at the beginning of this month. I did. Okay. I thought I did. So, or a different month. I'm just going to show you. I don't want to show you too much because I don't want to spend too much time on this. In this book, there are pages that are helping you plan. You take your monthly goal. I help you break them down to your quarterly goal. I help you break them down to your monthly goals, and we break them down to daily goals. And we work from there, leaving space to be intuitive. So we're not going to break it down today, but I'm just showing you, if you have the book, there is space in here that is part of what that's for. That is part of what that's for. I tripped over those words. Okay, so we talked about 2023. We talked about 2024. We did a little housekeeping, but here's the thing. I forgot to mention in our housekeeping, and I'm going to circle back to this. And I don't know who's interested because I didn't ask everybody. But there's another exciting homework piece that I forgot to mention. We are going to read this book, Amanda Rose. It's called Manifesting on Purpose. It is a great book. We're going to go through it together. Okay, I'm going to post more about our book club and our book. I'm going to put it in here separately, but and I'll put the show notes in with the YouTube and the podcast. If you want part of the book club and you're not part of Essentially You, DM me. We'll talk about that. Again, think of energetic exchange here. So that's our book club. We will be meeting once a month for this book club. Okay, once a month. We're going to start with this book in January, so I'll talk more about it as we go. I'm just letting you know. Why I'm bringing this up is because I want to go over some ideas right now as to some of the habits. When I say be that girl in 2024, let's think of those habits, right? Those habits that you're stepping into. And I had mentioned a couple of points, but I want to dive in a little bit deeper. What I did for you today is I created a tree, right? When we talked about 2023, 24, the growth of that tree, what it looks like, what's different, the mindset around it, and the emotion and the feelings. And then each branch, we're talking about different ideas, right? Are we planning, or are we intuitive, or do we want to be a little bit of both? We tapped into some solutions and what both of those branches look like. And now, with the main theme of how to be that girl in 2024, we're going to another branch altogether and going over some habits that we could change. So you saw me, or consider, or add to our habit tracker. So you saw me add the details to a habit tracker in here. If any of these stick out, add them to your habit tracker, or just make a quick note about them, and we can have a conversation. Put them in here as I go over them to let me know what stands out for you. So it's all about being that girl in 2024. We're leaving 2023 behind. We're stepping into 2024. It's not just what does she look like, what does she feel like, but ensure that the image of that girl that you want is something realistic for you. How does she fit the mold? You know, before jumping into a different lifestyle with new habits and new ambitions, it's important to ask yourself if becoming that girl is achievable and feasible for you. You know, with this, I don't mean that becoming that girl isn't for everyone. For this, I mean that for each one of us requires something different, and we kind of talked about that already. For some people, it might mean getting up early, but for others, it might mean even getting up a little bit later and prioritizing sleep. For some people, it might be spending time getting organized for the day, and for other people, it might mean changing their intuitive, so they're tapping into their messages and living a life that's a little bit more free for them, because that's part of their goal. So ask yourself what kind of that girl you would like to become, and what habits you would like to change or add to your routine. Number 2, plan how you're going to become that girl. Even if it seems possible, changing your lifestyle without a plan becomes difficult. and demotivating after a while. It's kind of like revisiting your 2023. If you didn't have a plan, if you completely went with it, if you are not happy with how it looks different, why? What could you have done differently? Could you have had a plan to it? Slowly introduce positive habits into your routine. Slowly. You don't want to do too much too quick. That's why I'm letting you know some of the things that are upcoming, but I'm not saying we're reading this right away, right? We won't talk about this till February. And you'll see. But the whole point is, it's not too much at once. It can't be. Too much at once is hard to sustain. You want to go slow and steady. And it's the same thing I say with weight loss. Slow and steady. My favorite, this is step number 4. Don't be too hard on yourself. And practice self-love. One of the things we forget to add is to be good to ourselves along the way. And whether we are intentionally or subconsciously or consciously changing our habits and creating new ones, there's something going on there. So we need to be kind with ourselves. We don't get to predict, we don't get to manage every moment of our lives. We can do our best to put them in brackets and containers, but that doesn't fit for everyone. I'm a free spirit, guys. I've had this advice my whole life, and my brackets and containers look different. But that's the thing. They're there. I'm just learning they look different. And that what I do just should be labeled and put into a bracket so I can pat myself on the back. Because otherwise I don't see it. Because I just see it as part of my day. But I am doing something in part of my day. Okay? And that's on me. That's my mindset. I've had this conversation with myself lately, and this is going deep. This is coach to coach in our head. And being completely vulnerable here. And I'm like, well, I am so sick of bonding with the couch at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, what are other people doing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in their lives? And then I started thinking about, okay, well, what did I used to do? So I sat there in that space for a while, I was really grumpy. And I'm like, okay, let's be fair. What did I used to do at 2 o'clock? Who cares what other people did? And I realized, well, when I was in corporate, I would normally take my lunch breaks at 2, believe it or not. I'm like, okay, so if it's not nice out and I can't take a break and I'm not feeling well and I can't go for a walk, that's not going to work. But that wouldn't have worked on another day either. So I'm trying to think, okay, so what else would I have done? And maybe I would have used that time to clean the kitchen if I was working from home, or catch up with a friend if I was working from home. I'm like, okay. And so I thought about that some more. And I'm like, okay, maybe in the summer I would definitely be outside gardening or reading my book or puttering. And I'm like, well, what do I do on the other months? And I'm like, I don't know. Okay. Well, what do other people do in offices? They book meetings. They go for lunch. They work. I'm just coming up with ideas because I have a hard time sitting still in the afternoon after I've been sitting still for so long. And then I said to myself, about a week later, maybe a week and a half later, so this whole dialogue went about a week and a half, where first of all, remember I was thinking about, like, what am I going to do with myself at 2 o'clock? And then I started thinking about what did I used to do with myself at 2 o'clock? Then what did others do at 2 o'clock for some ideas and some inspiration? And then I got to the point where, what does it matter? I'm at a different point in my life. I'm experiencing different things in my life. What does any of that matter? Who cares what I'm doing at 2 o'clock on a Monday? Who cares that I care? I need to let that go because that's not going to help me. My past doesn't matter what I did, and I can do whatever I want. I could work if I want to. I could take my lunch if I want to. I can sit on the couch if I want to. And the whole dialogue happened because I wasn't comfortable sitting on the couch because That was somebody else's expectations of it not being a good thing that was brought into my life. Yeah. I know you've got parallel situations in your life, whether it comes to food, whether it comes to things that you do, your finances. You are carrying around other people's expectations of what you should be doing at that day and time, which means you are not practicing self-love. I finally came to the point where it doesn't matter what I do on those days. At that time, I mean. I can have a bath. I can work from the bath. My journey's different right now. My journey's all about healing. So I can go back to do whatever I want to do at that time. Okay. That was heavy. Okay, sorry about that. Let's have a sip of water here. Point number 5. Track your progress. You've heard me talk about the habit tracker. I mentioned it earlier today. There are some examples in here. Ladies, if you have yours ready, I would love to see them. If you haven't booked your coaching call for me yet for this month, or if you have your coaching call booked, we'll go over it during that call. But yes, this is a game changer. Tracking your activity. I don't care how you do it. Try away, and then we'll go over it together, and we'll see if it works for you, and if it doesn't work for you, we'll figure it out together. Point number 6, reward yourself after small improvements. Changing my thoughts about what I do on the couch at 2 p.m. on the afternoon. God, it should have gotten a reward. I'm trying to think of if I went for coffee or ice cream or something. Yeah, you heard me. I'm keeping it real, guys, but because that was a big mindset self-improvement piece. And at the end of the day, you're doing this work so you can do the work and pull out the resources when you need to. You have this information in your back pocket for when it jumps out to you in life. You want to reward your small wins. There's so many ways to do this. I will put a different post about how to do this in here. I'll probably break this down bit by bit and put them down as separate posts so we have a lot more conversation. Okay, have fun. Are you having fun during the process of becoming that girl? Are you? I was just realizing I haven't painted in a while. I bought stuff to make my Christmas crafts, and it's here. My intention is to have fun. Okay? But at least I'm creating the intention to have fun. But I'm not building it into my calendar. I know I can't control all of my calendar. I respect that right now. But that's keeping it real as well, right? Anything can happen in a drop of a hat. And we're not complaining, by the way, by mentioning where we're at or what's going on. Sometimes, and at the right time, we'll change our vocabulary and we'll change the way we look at things. And you'll witness this on the most unexpected times. I witnessed this morning when I was having a conversation with somebody how, looking back, it makes total sense that things happened the way they happened. And it's like, okay, it makes total sense. And that changes your perspective. So when you can have fun, A, you stay committed longer. B, you are not working out of motivation. You are working simply because you enjoy it, right? Why do I paint? Often. I like it. I'm not good at it, but I like it. And so if I was learning personal development and it wasn't part of my habit yet, but maybe I like to knit, or maybe I like to paint and keep my hands busy, or coloring. What if I listen to that while I'm doing that to help build a new habit, or while I'm going for a walk? I think I've shared this with most of you. I talk to my coach on a walk every time. Well, not every time, but most of the time. I like to be outside talking to her, and I don't need my notes. She can send me anything I need. Anything is going, I'm going to remember. Or she'll send me notes, like a quick thing. But the difference is, I am having fun. I am looking forward to doing those things. When you have fun during the process of becoming that girl in 2024, you're going to show up more for yourself. Do you even have fun in your schedule right now? Does fun even exist in your life right now? We will talk about this another time. Okay, where are we? Okay, that's it. Gave you 7 tips today on how to become that girl in 2024. And even if those things are listed on your habit tracker, oh, I guess I could give you more. No, I'm not going to give you more. I'm going to have you stick along. We're already at 45 minutes, folks, and I think it's a good time, but I don't want to go over a laundry list of things for you to feel like you're checking off on. I like the 7 that we went over today. What I like about them is they're easy for you to put in your habit tracker and for you to see where you're at and then course correct and then add more when you're ready. With the intention, excuse me. Okay. With the intention of working towards those goals. And if you really don't know where to start, I'd like you to think of what's on your vision board. When you're thinking of what's different in 2024, look around. I did put a picture of my vision board up on my post not that long ago. I will share it in this group so you can see what is on some of my vision boards that I have. And I'm going to use those as things to work towards this year, even subconsciously. Okay? Because once they're on that habit tracker, I see them every day. Once they're on that habit tracker, we'd be able to sit here and say, how did your 2024 go? And we're like, we rocked it. Q1, yes. Q2, yes. Q3, yes. Q4, I'm all set up for Q1 for 2025. Woo, woo. It still might be different, but you're anticipating the good this time because you're a lot more prepared. Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for showing up every day. Thank you, especially to my Essentially You group for creating space for everybody else to listen to this private message. Every coaching session, every time I go live is completely different. I do create the space. I do have an idea of what I want to talk about, but sometimes it's not until last minute because I do want to be intuitively led. I do want to tell you exactly what you need to hear today. And throughout the year, we've got plenty of time to go over that together. All right, as we summarize today's session, podcast episode 166, I want to ask you, who is your life coach? Do you have one? And if you don't have one, I would love to have a conversation with you to see if working together is a fit. If you joining the Essentially You group is a fit, or if there's any way I can support you on your journey towards health and happiness. Oh, excuse me so much. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. I'm sure you'll see me before the holidays, so make sure you stay tuned in this group. Sending you so much love. And Merry Christmas if I don't see you, or Happy Holidays.